and it's enough money to buy food for, say, a family of four to survive. And that's what's keeping everything, you might say, going. And if that subsidy were to fall away, I have no idea what would happen. It would be absolute chaos. There's no way that subsidy can fall away because the result would be pandemonium.
And what would happen? What would happen if the communist element that has a lot of power is able to run out the 25,000, 30,000 white farms left that produce 90% of the food? Why are the communists trying to take that land when production always falls down to almost nothing? Why are they killing their golden goose?
Well, they're opportunists. They're not looking. They're not communists. They use these terms: communist, this or that, socialist, communist. They're just opportunists, looking at whatever label looks interesting and pretending that they have some solution. And of course, to the ordinary, unschooled sort of, let's say, black person, maybe white person too, they offer, amazing solutions that they would be able to provide if they were able to run the country. But we know that's nonsense.
Well, that reminds me, what about the parallel of Mamdani now winning, maybe even running for president, being a kingmaker? All the candidates he supported, the American Democrat, socialists, really communists, they're winning all the primaries and replacing all the old school Democrats that were bad enough. So the Democratic Party is metastasizing, getting more radical. Isn't that similar with your leftist parties, which is what happened in South Africa?
Yes, but let them do it. Let them do it. Because once they are put in behind the steering wheel, you will then see what they really are about. And the spirit in America, is the greatest in the world. I mean, people are the people of America are generally the kindest people you get in the world. So they would give these sort of people a chance in America, I suppose, democratic socialists or whatever they are, and see how they go. But there's no doubt whatsoever, Mamdani is going to fail hopelessly. He's going to fail hopelessly. There's no question about that. And they will pretend that they didn't fail or look for excuses or whatever it is, but he's going to fail. And he's already failing. None of the things that he said he's going to do are being done. And so let him do it. We had a joke back in the days when Elon and Kimball were at university in America, where somebody said there was some or other emergency or something that, like a hurricane or something, and nobody in the government came to work for 2 weeks. And then followed that up by saying nobody noticed that nobody came to work. So at the end of the day, a strong private sector and a very good banking system is a solution.
Let's quickly talk about Mamdani. So who is he? He's an American politician and he's a member of the Democratic Party. He's affiliated with the Democratic Socialists of America. So he previously served in New York State Assembly and is now the mayor of New York City. Very cool. Where is he from? He was born in Kampala, Uganda, to Ugandan academic Mahmoud Mamdani, and Indian filmmaker Mira Nair. He moved to New York as a child. Now, what does he believe in? He believes one of the more progressive politicians in the U.S., or rather, he's considered one of the more progressive politicians in the U.S. His platform has included higher taxes on wealthy individuals, more affordable housing. I don't see anything wrong with what he's saying here. Expanded public transit. Okay, what is wrong with that? That's good. Universal childcare. I think that is great. Jeez, it sounds almost Canadian. Greater government involvement in providing social services. So, again, it looks like as if he wants the government to do more for the people, taking the rich people's money via taxes. So that is definitely not very American, right? Because America is known to be very capitalist. So he's looking like as if he needs to move to Europe or to Canada, where like you can be more socialist, is what it's sounding like. So I see why Errol is saying that he's going to fail, because with those policies in a place like the United States of America, especially now that they have a president like Donald Trump, who is like capitalist at the prime. He's like the boss of capitalism. Yeah. I don't think it's going to work out that well for Mamdani. But y'all let me know down in the chat. What do you think about Mamdani? Do you think that he's... I personally don't have any issues with his policies. I'm all for universal childcare. Like, I mean, children shouldn't have to be suffering when we have someone that we have trillionaires and billionaires. Then now you're not going to treat a child because he doesn't have insurance. I just never understood that part. So I completely am with him on this particular one. Now, am I with him when it comes to like taxing the rich? It's not like as if I'm rich, so I probably won't be affected by these taxes. But I just feel like we already pay enough taxes, and that should really be enough. So in my own mind, I'm like, why don't we reduce spending? So even though it might not affect me taxing the rich because I'm not exactly rich, right? I still don't think that, because that is how we get to where we are right now, is when people do nothing because they're like, oh, it doesn't affect me right now. Yeah, it might not affect you right now, but then it might affect your children's children, right? And then they'll be wondering, like, who did this mess? Who allowed this to happen? Who agreed with this, right? That's how we find ourselves where we are right now, paying almost 50% of our income, however little it is, to Uncle Sammy, right? That is how we get to that point, is when we just keep quiet when we hear things like this, simply because it doesn't affect us today. In my mind, that is short-sighted thinking. We need to be holding our elected officials accountable to be making sure that they're actually using our tax money wisely and not just spending it lavishly. But like, I mean, like, you know, like, I don't know, like, is that rocket science? Like, it couldn't be that hard, could it? How did these people get into the office and then they can't just do that? They have to keep on taxing and taxing and taxing, right? I mean, at some point, you're gonna need to like account for the money. Like, what are you doing with all the money, guys?